Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brittany. My friends call me Bolt. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Today is going to be a little bit of a different video. I wanted to share with you guys the books that I've read this year. Now, I read a lot more than what I usually do, but I definitely didn't read as much as a lot of people do. But I'm on my 20th book of the year, so I've read 20 books this year. I've always loved reading. Growing up, I was always the nerd reading at recess. So I kind of lost touch with that after college. You know, obviously I read in college, but it was always for assignments, so it was never really for fun. But this year I really made it a point to read every single day. That was one of my big habits. I do want to do a video on that before the end of the year to kind of explain my habit tracker and how I've been able to get back on track this year. Past few years were really a struggle for me in all areas, but I'm trying to get back on track and it has really worked out for me. So I just wanted to share the 20 books that I've read this year. Quite a few of these books have made a really big impact on my life, so I thought I would share and give you some book recommendations. I'm gonna add all the books down in the description below, and I'm also going to share with you guys my link to goodreads.com. Now, this is an awesome website if you love to read because you can keep track of all the books you've read, write book reviews on there, and kind of challenge yourself to read a certain amount of books a year. So that's how I've been keeping track of all the books that I've read. And if you want to know a good place to get some good books for cheap, download the Thrift Books app or go on their website. I've gotten a big majority of my books in this bookcase from Thrift Books app. So go there, check it out if you want to get some good books for cheap. I'm not necessarily gonna go in order of what I read because I can't remember that off the top of my head. It's on goodreads.com, but I'm just gonna start pulling from the stacks. So this is a pretty popular book on BookTok, The Body Keeps Score by Bessel van der Kolk, MD. This book is so good. If you've ever experienced literally any kind of trauma, this is a must read. It explains just so much about what you need to do to heal and realizing what is going on with your body and what your triggers are and why you're reacting that way. So this is really good. I would give this 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5 stars. This one, also a very, very big favorite of mine, Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I think what I loved most about this book is there was a lot of science in it, but there's like a middle section that has a bunch of colored diagrams, charts, but this book has a lot to do with energy, really just understanding how energy works, harnessing that energy. I loved it, and it had a lot of different diagrams in here as well, so I really love this book. Talks a lot about your energy field. Love it. I like to read a lot of nonfiction books, at least that's what I've been into this year. I'm gonna branch out a little bit more though for 2023, but I just want, when I take that much time to read, I really want to be learning things, you know. I want to be learning things. So a lot of these are nonfiction, but there are a few that are fiction. The World According to Monsanto. Now, here's the kicker for reading books like this. This is a very good book. I loved it. It was super informative. It's about pollution, corruption, and the control of our food supply, and how Monsanto is pretty much just fucking us over. But anyways, I love this book. It was good, but it was a little bit dark. It just pissed me off. It really did. It really made me really upset, but really informative, really good. It showed basically the negative effects of Monsanto all over the world in a lot of different countries. So there's that one. A Stolen Life. Oh my god, this book is so good, by Jaycee Dugard. This is a true story. This poor little girl was kidnapped kept in captivity for years and years and years. I read this book in 2 days. I could not put it down. It was heart-wrenching, but it was really good, really good. Would definitely recommend this book. Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. This is another pretty popular book. I just thought it was really interesting. I liked this one. I'd probably give it maybe like a 4 out of 5. Not my favorite, but it was good. I'm definitely gonna read some other Malcolm Gladwell books, but the first chapter was just really interesting because it talked about your birthdays and how that correlates to sports, and basically like it broke it down into hockey players and when the best hockey players are born. Like, it's just crazy. Just read the book. I'm not gonna explain the whole thing, but just go read it. This one was really funny. This was interesting. Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs by Chuck Klosterman. This was pretty much just a commentary on pop culture. I thought it was interesting. It was funny. It was witty. I definitely laughed a few times during this, but I really liked this one. Probably 4 out of 5 too. Okay, next one is Energy Work by Robert Bruce. I really enjoyed this book. I'm just starting to learn a lot more about spirituality, energy work, your chakras, all that stuff. So a lot of these books kind of related to each other. Becoming Supernatural really related to this energy work book. So this is a really good book if you don't really know anything about energy work. This would be a great place to start. But again, I really like some of these more scientific books because it just has a lot of diagrams. So if you're into science, into that kind of stuff, these books are good. I'd recommend this. 4 out of 5. This was the longest and biggest book I read this year, The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. I really enjoyed this book. I really liked it for a number of reasons. I've heard some people say in the reviews that it's all just like common sense. Some of it is, some of it isn't, but I really enjoyed this book because I'm trying to find a good page that has a representation. So there's a lot of colored text and there are stories on the side that have to do with the law. It's talking about a lot of it, has a lot of history in this, and all kinds of history too. And it's a long book and I thought it was gonna be really tedious to read, but it actually it wasn't so bad, but I thought it was really good. I would say this is probably 5 out of 5. It was a long read, it was rough, but I think that everyone should probably read this. Very useful in relationships, career, life. I wanna read some more Robert Greene books, so. This was something I wouldn't usually read, but it was When Bad Things Happen to Good People by Harold Kushner. A little bit of an older book. I think it was published like in the 80s. But it's pretty much just a take, more of a religious take on why bad things happen to good people, literally like it says. So the author shared some personal stories. From what I can remember, his son was diagnosed with a disease or something like that, and they're very religious people, and he would have people come to him in the church and everything like that and just be like, if God is real, why are horrible things happening? And so this definitely, like I said, not be something I would usually pick up, but I was just intrigued when I read the description of it, and I was like, okay, I'll give that a little bit of a listen, a little bit of a read. So that was good. Probably like maybe 3 out of 5. Okay, I'm obsessed with Don Miguel Ruiz. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but I've read The 4 Agreements. Everyone needs to read this book. Everyone needs to read this book. It's very short. It's a short read. The 4 agreements are to be impeccable with your word, don't ever take anything personally, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. And that has stuck with me. I think about that like probably every other day. Just keep those 4 things in mind, but you should read this. I guess he came out with a 5th agreement. I haven't read that yet, but would highly recommend this book. The Mastery of Love, A Practical Guide to the Art of Relationships. Highly recommend this one as well. This one was a little bit longer, but very helpful. Very helpful if you're in a relationship, if you're married, if you're not. Again, everyone should read this, I think. It's a nice little short read. It's not too long. This was a cute little book. It was called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. It's All Small Stuff by Richard Carlson. This is more of kind of like a coffee table book. Like, it was pretty short. It was a quick read. I read this in a few days. But it's just like a nice positive reminder. It was all things that, again, some of them were maybe a little bit straightforward, but I like to read these more positive books in between the books that are a little bit heavier. Try to keep that balance. So this book by Emily Ratajkowski, My Body. I loved this book for so many reasons. I think that a lot of girls can relate to this book, unfortunately. But I just loved hearing her story, basically. I knew about her, I knew who she was, but I didn't know her story. So reading this really gave me an insight to who Emily is, some of the struggles that she's been through, and I can honestly say that it's very relatable. So I would recommend this one. This was 5 out of 5. Okay, this book. This is The Book of Secrets by Deepak Chopra. I really like Deepak Chopra. I read a couple of his books, but honestly, I chose this book purely for the cover. Are you kidding me? That's stunning. But anyways, this is all about unlocking the hidden dimensions of your life. Again, very on point for understanding your spiritual self, working through some of that, your own spiritualities, working through life, the lessons of life. So I like this one. This is a New York Times bestseller. A lot of these books are pretty popular. Every time I'm on TikTok and get on booktok side of TikTok, I always go into my Thrift Books app and save a bunch of books to my wish list that I see other people reading. So that's kind of how I put together this random selection of books for this year. I think I put in like 2 really big orders to Thrift Books, and yeah, all these books I've gotten from Thrift Books. So Moon Magic. This is a really cool book to learn about the moon. It's a great place to start with kind of astrology. It's your complete guide to harnessing the mystical energy of the moon by Diane Alquist. This was just really cool to learn more about the moon phases, manifesting. If you're interested in that, this is a really great place to start. It's definitely not a deep dive into the moon. It's very much astrology based, setting intentions, doing moon meditations, learning to meditate, what the different moon phases mean. So that was a cool book. This is another really good book, but another book that really pissed me off. It's The End of Food by Paul Roberts. Pretty much just saying all the things wrong with our food system in America. Again, a pretty heavy book. I read through this really quickly though because it was just so interesting. This book, as well as the Monsanto book, had a lot of statistics and research that went into it. So I liked that a lot of it was backed up with, you know, real shit. But this had a lot of shocking statistics about the growth hormones that they put into our food, why we've become so obese, why the food pyramid is the way that it is. Like, it's just some pretty dark stuff, but I think, again, everyone should read this. These books have definitely influenced me into changing how I live my life in 2023, which I'll do a video talking about that soon, but definitely left an impact on me. And I remember that shit when I'm going to eat food and nothing is appealing to me anymore, but that's America. This other book, this was also very good. Highly recommend this. But it was also sad. It's Evicted by Matthew Desmond. This is about poverty and profit in the American city, and it was just very eye-opening, and it followed a handful of people, about 4 or 5 different people and their stories, and basically just how they got to where they are. And it also went over the landlords as well. So not only how the landlords are, you know, stealing and screwing over tenants that are evicted, just like the struggles. And I think it's based in Milwaukee. So this was a really good book. I shared this with a few people, and I heard that some people had to read it in college, so that was good. But I highly recommend this. It's just very eye-opening. 5 out of 5. Oh my gosh, this is probably another one of my favorite books. I don't know if this would be considered fiction or nonfiction, but it's The Girl and the Goddess by Nikita Gill. Stories and Poetries of Divine Wisdom. I absolutely loved this book. It was a bit of a quicker read because it's more poem, short story style, but I absolutely loved all the illustrations that she included. Yeah, this book is about a little girl named Pero, and just about her growing up, learning a bunch of different lessons in life, and I absolutely loved it. I also really liked the Hindu mythology that was included in this book. I've never really read or researched or done anything about that, so that's kind of piqued my interest. So I'm probably going to get some more Nikita Gill books, but I just loved the little illustrations in that one. This is the book I'm reading right now. I'm almost to the end of it, but it's another Deepak Chopra book. It is The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. I accidentally bought the huge font edition. It's like 16-point size font, but that's okay. Totally fine. I'm still gonna read it. It's actually really nice to read books with larger font if you want to try to habit stack, and if you want to go like walk on the treadmill and read. That's what I've been doing while reading this book, and it's been just kind of helpful for me to knock out my workout and reading all at the same time. But this one, I love this. It's really good. I think the biggest part that I like about it is after each chapter, it kind of goes over like, okay, what are you going to do to actually implement this law of success into your life? So there's a few points at the end. I'm trying to see if I can show you like a little example. Yeah, okay, so applying the law of karma, or cause and effect. So then it goes over all of these different commitments to actually implement these laws into your life. So for example, today I will witness the choices I make in each moment, and in the mere witnessing of these choices, I will bring them to my conscious awareness. I will know that the best way to prepare for any moment in the future is to be fully conscious in the present. So again, a lot of people might consider this to be common knowledge, but I would honestly say unless you are already very emotionally intelligent, then read this multiple times, because it is never bad to have a reminder like this. So really love this. So I'm in the middle of this book. This is the 19th book I've read this year. I'm almost done. I'll probably be finished with it today. I think the next book I'm gonna read is Astral Projection by Denning and Phillips. I've heard so much about astral projection, and I just want to learn more about it. It's definitely tied into some of the energy work books that I read and Becoming Supernatural. So I think I'll be reading this one next, and this might be the last book I can read this year, but I'll see how fast I can get through it. And then just to give you guys like a little sneak peek of what I'm going to be reading in 2023, here are some of the books that I've already picked out. So Yoga and the Quest for the True Self by Stephen Cope. I've been doing a lot more yoga lately, and I just want to learn, I guess, more about it, more about the practice, more about how it can be beneficial to my life. So read that. I've never read a yoga book before, so. Ooh, this one's a fiction, All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda. At least I think it's a fiction. Anyways, I'm trying to branch out. I haven't read any books by Megan Miranda, but I've heard she's very popular. Okay, see, here's where you'll see a theme here. I got onto the whole subject of food in America, our food industry, and I got a bunch of different books about it, so I'm gonna try to space them out and put some books in between. But this one's American Wasteland by Jonathan Bloom, How America Throws Away Nearly Half of Its Food. Food Politics by Marion Nestle, How the Food Industry Influences Nutrition and Health. Oh, this one might be a little controversial, but I'm ready to dig into it. The Real Anthony Fauci by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Bill Gates, Big Pharma, and the Global War on Democracy and Public Health. That book's probably gonna make me very upset as well. And then I also have The 100-Year Lie by Randall Fitzgerald, another food themed book. How to Protect Yourself from the Chemicals That Are Destroying the Earth. That's helpful. Let's see, I got The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins. A Powerful Argument for How to Think About the Place of Religion in the Modern World. I'm open to reading anything. That's the thing about me, is that I'm open to reading anything. So, this is Mindset, The New Psychology of Success by Carol S. DeWitt. And then I have a little mythology book that I'm gonna read by Edith Hamilton. Timeless Tales of Gods and Heroes. So that is what I have read this year in 2022. I'm definitely gonna try to read probably at least 25 books. In 2023, I wanna try to read more books than I did in 2022. So I'm gonna try to beat 20. I'm gonna say I wanna read 25 books in 2023. So that's the goal. If you guys have any book recommendations, please let me know, put it down in the comments. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I know that this is a little bit of different content, but I'm back and we're gonna be doing weekly videos every Saturday. So thank you so much. I love and appreciate you guys. Bye.